Winter fishing can be challenging and demanding for the best of us, but having a proven, tried and tested bait will certainly point you in the right direction to banking those extra winter carp. Let's pop down to my swim and take a look at something special. By now you have all heard of the impeccable Nash Citruz range. It has been catching fish for years and years, not just throughout the UK, but all over the world, and it just never seems to fail to produce. I was recently out filming an in-session piece with none other than Steve Briggs, and while I was out with him, we chatted all things bait over a cup of tea or two. And one little nugget of information that I picked up from Steve is that the Citruz range had had a bit of a revamp. Now, of course, curiosity killed the cat, but in this case, I needed to know all about it. And so here we are. I've got a selection of the new Citruz bits and pieces, and I just wanted to take a moment to tell you guys all about what's been changed throughout the range. Now, the Citruz was originally considered to be sort of a winter style bait, a winter tactic. High leakage boilies with lots of flavour in them, high digestibility, allowing the carp to consume great amounts of them even in the coldest of months. But because they were very visual, you had a bright white option, you also had a pink option, which was like a pale pink, and then there was a bright pink mixed together in one bag. I think people almost saw them as like a single hook bait type fishing approach. And because of that, I don't think many people used them on, say, a baiting campaign where they were going to use one particular bait over a prolonged period of time. However, the new Citruz has changed quite substantially. But there are still a couple of key things that we all know and loved about the original Citruz that have been pulled through into that new range. Now, the original Citruz had a fantastic sort of full-on fruity, sort of citrusy type flavour profile. And yeah, as I said, everybody knows it and loves it. And because of that, that has been kept. That is exactly the same as it was before. However, Nash have added a new toffee palatant to the mix, and what that does is it just rounds off that flavour profile and makes it more palatable for the fish. But of course, this is still based on that original flavour profile that is known throughout the fishing industry as one of the all-time greats. Now, as I said, that original boilie was designed to be a winter bait, but the new one has been basically redesigned and modified to make sure that it is suitable for all year round use. This has got copious amounts of Himalayan rock salt in it, some tiger nut meal, there's loads of new added extras, as I say, that make this bait perfect for all year round. So whether you're fishing through those long hot summer days or whether you're braving it out in the freezing cold winters, Citruz is going to be doing what you need it to. The colour has also been toned down a bit. We've now got a nice natural sort of beige colour. Those bright whites and bright pinks, if you're fishing for old wary carp, they could quite often see that as a potential threat in the swim. So now, no problem at all. It's a nice subtle colour which is absolutely perfect for campaign angling. While I was out with Steve on this session, he was telling me all about a session that he had recently had in Italy. Now, he took Scopex squid, he took monster shrimp, and he took Citruz. And he was telling me that the new Citruz outfished the other two. Now, obviously, that is probably lake dependent, situation dependent, but it certainly inspires confidence knowing that this new base mix really does exactly what it says on the tin. The boilies come in different sizes, so you can tailor your baiting approach to the angling that you've got ahead of you. You've got 12 mils, which are perfect for the winter. You've got your 15 millers, which I think are a general sort of all-rounder. You've got your 20 millers, which are absolutely perfect if your lake has got lots of nutrient species. And then you've got the monstrous 24 millers. Now, they're perfect for those European inland seas where you've got massive fish, and let's be honest, they've got massive mouths. There is also the option for flaked Citruz, so there really is a boilie style and size to meet any situation that you might be in. Now, before we move on to some of these very nice Citruz extras, I'd just like to do a special mention to the flake. This is a deadly tactic, and if you were to incorporate it into your angling, I think it could be a real winner. It offers a fantastic visual element to your fishing. Whole boilies, when we catapult them out, throw and stick them out, or even when you're spomming them out, quite often will hit the lake bed and partially sink into silt, whereas the flake, it just kind of flutters down and rests on top. Again, maximising that visual impact of the bait. Also fantastic if you're fishing around weed. If you take a standard boilie, for example, that will probably fall through all of the strands of weed to the lake bed and never actually be seen by a carp. Whereas that flake, it's going to hold up in all the weed and create a massive blanket feed situation, which is absolutely perfect for picking up extra bites. Now, of course, boilies don't cover every situation while we're out on the bank, and that's where these little extras come into play. There is loads of different pieces within the Citruz range that you can put into your angling to make sure that you've got every scenario accounted for. So first of all, let's take these lovely 2mm pellets. These are absolutely perfect for solid bag fishing. I love using small little 2mm pellets in a solid bag because not only do they offer a massive amount of attraction, but they are also so small, they get right down into the corners of the solid bag, into every little crack and crevice, enabling you to make that solid bag absolutely rock hard. Obviously, the tighter the solid bag, the further it'll cast. It just makes your whole life so much easier. Moving back to the 6mm pellets now, I would use those slightly differently. I consider those as being a spod mix ingredient. So if I was fishing over a spod mix, I'd put a couple of handfuls of those in because they break down quickly, releasing a massive amount of attraction really quickly into your peg. And then you're left with a nice, again, that carpet feed type scenario. It's not something that a lot of people do, mainly because they're afraid of catching loads of bream with the pellet. But if you can battle through the bream that may come your way, then pellet is an excellent carp fishing bait. Next up, we have got the Citrus Cloud Liquid. Now this one is yellow, but it is also available in both pink and white, so you can basically take your pick as to which you favour. These PVA friendly liquids offer a vivid and highly visible flavour and taste trail, hopefully leading the carp down to your hook bait, which is exactly where you need them to be. There are no nasties in it, there's no chemicals, everything is human grade, so you know there is no issues with putting it into a lake. Obviously, if you add these to a solid bag or to a PVA stick, for example, the extra attraction you're going to get is invaluable. Next up, of course, we have got the old faithful pop-up. Now, if a range didn't have a set of pop-ups in it, you'd be a little bit worried. These are available in loads of different sizes and colours, so you can basically tailor it to the rigs that you like to use in your fishing. They're ultra buoyant and, of course, absolutely ram-packed full of attractors. However, if you combine said pop-ups with some of the citrus extract, you will be able to take these hook baits to another level entirely. All you will need to do is put a couple of spritzes on the citrus hook bait spray onto your pop-ups and then just sprinkle a small amount, and I mean small amount, of this citrus extract over the top. This is basically the purest form of all the citrus goodies. So you've got all the flavour enhancers, you've got the sweeteners, and of course you've got that toffee palatant, and it really will just make those pop-ups stand out from everything else that is in the lake. Now this powder really is quite intense, and the recommended inclusion rate on, say, a kilo of boilies is just 2 grams in a kilo of bait. So you can imagine just how potent this really is. So yeah, just a sprinkling, because that's all you're going to need. And lastly, one of my absolute favourites, the Fizzing Stick mix. Now, until you have used a stick mix, which is ready to go straight out of the tub like this is, you haven't lived. Gone are the days of having to take your stick mix and your favoured liquids and then mix it all together trying to get the right consistency, because the guys at Nash have already done it for you. This is perfect straight out of the tub. You can pop this into your stocking type mesh, push it down with the plunger, and you'll get the perfect stick every time. But it doesn't stop there, because not only is this absolutely ram-packed with all of those citrus goodies, it is also active. This fizzes once it gets to the lake bed, so it will break down quickly, releasing food particles that rise and fall through the column. Again, trying to draw fish down to your hook bait. Pop a little stick of this with your hook bait and you are sure to be fishing better than the guy in the peg next door. Now obviously the Nash Citruz range has got so much stuff in it that I couldn't bring it all out with me today. So pop onto the Nash Tackle website where you can take a further in-depth look into the entire range. Or of course your other option, just get down to your local tackle shop where I'm sure this will be stocked. Smell it for yourself and instantly you'll know you're onto a winner. If you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and of course make sure you hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss out any more future uploads. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks very much.